So I'm going to put a generous amount of oil, and then I just kind of put some in. Now I'm just being generous with it because I like the flavor, and it kind of gives a lot of flavor off. But there you go. And we're gonna start getting this fried up. And I just realized I should have opened up my cans, so we're gonna do that while we fry this. Turning it down just a little bit. So if I fry it for too long, it's going to get too hot. I want a little bit more oil in there. Just a little bit more. Sometimes I'll fry it by veggies with this, but usually if you do, then you're going to make it super spicy. Come on. We need to get this in. It's going to get too spicy. Okay, that's good enough. I'm just going to pull it back. Okay, now I'm going to pour in some coconut milk. And on the top of the coconut milk is the cream. So we're going to mostly want to use that right now. And we want to get this curry to start mild. We don't want to keep cooking it. For me, it's going to be already pretty spicy. I didn't even cook it for very long. It's going to be spicy. You want it really spicy, just keep cooking it down in the oil. It's something about this. This is just the way that it works. Okay, so now we've got this going. So we've got a nice, I didn't use it all. And I'm going to open up the other can right now as well. And what we're going to do now is just get the pork coated with this and kind of start the cooking process. And because we now have a nice kind of very intense flavors right now. And we're just going to throw that in there. All right. And we're going to get it coated and cook for a few minutes until it kind of just starts to, you can see it starting to kind of coat the pork and get it started. And we're going to kind of treat this more like a stew. I'm treating it more like a stew than anything else. So, all right, so we got that going. Turn it up just a little bit. All right, so it already smells good. All right, so then we're going to just get it started. And let me see if there's any comments. Of course, or coconut. Oh yeah, you can use coconut aminos, of course. The purpose of this is to get something that has umami flavor, and coconut aminos is going to give that to you. You know, and that works, you know, as well as an alternative to soy sauce, obviously. But yeah, the goal here is, I mean, salt is a purpose of it, but unlike some of the Chinese stir fries, the flavor of the fish sauce, the flavor of the soy sauce is not something that is going to be necessary for the flavor of the dish. You're just looking for that punch of umami, right? And I know that I'm using that word a lot, but that's really all it is. It is a little salt, but it's just a little bit more than that. Okay, so I just added the fish sauce. You saw it was kind of not too generous, but it kind of came out. And probably about a tablespoon of it, maybe. A teaspoon, maybe 2 teaspoons. Okay, so now I'm just going to start adding in the coconut milk that I just spilled all over the place. And I'm adding 2 cans. You can do a smaller batch and add just 1 can if you like. I am adding 2 cans. All right, get that in. So you can see this is the coconut cream at the top. You can separate this out and whip it. If you're vegan, it's a good alternative for whipped cream. It's not exactly the same, obviously, but it gives you some of the properties that you want, that you're looking for, that kind of richness, silkiness, and so I like this Thai Kitchen brand because for the milk, because it is it's a quality ingredient, and you can see the cream is really nice. And that's it. So the last ingredient that we're going to throw in here before we kind of let it start, kind of bring to a boil and simmer, to get a towel for my hand, is some sugar. I'm going to wait to put the cilantro in until the end because there's no reason to. I'm going to put about a tablespoon, maybe 1.5 teaspoons of sugar. Not too much. I can always add more. But this again was one of those ingredients that will help you balance out those flavors and give you a nice sweet taste. The curry is, if you taste it in the restaurants, they add sugar to it. They probably add a different sugar than I'm using. I just use table sugar. I think I read one recipe that said palm sugar. Palm sugar is not common here, so I don't get a lot of palm sugar. All right, and there we go. And I'll probably need to add salt, but I'm not going to test the salt yet because one, there's raw pork in there. No, that's actually the main reason. But I can test it a little bit later once it's kind of been cooked through. I'm going to bring this to a boil, and then once it comes to a boil, we're going to lower the heat and simmer it for about 30 minutes. Get this almost to the point where it's ready to simmer. And you can see the pork's already almost cooked. In theory, once the pork is cooked, if it's just cooked, you can actually do it then, but these veggies aren't going to be cooked. So you kind of have to balance out how you want it to be. Because the veggies need a little bit more time to cook. You can saute them and speed up that process. And that's a lot of times what I will do. I will saute them to speed up the process. But today, since it's just peppers and zucchini, I didn't feel like that was necessary. Now I think all the vegetables are pretty well cooked. It looks and smells divine. Now, one of the things that you can do, you can leave it just like this and serve it. And that's how it's generally served in Thai restaurants. I think the zucchini needs to be cooked a little longer. Let me see. Let me taste one. But a lot of times I like to thicken mine. Sometimes I will start with a coconut. I will do coconut cream instead of coconut milk. But that's a lot. Oh, this is really ready. The zucchini doesn't look ready, but oh, look at that. It's perfect. So I think I'm going to thicken it with a little bit of cornstarch water, not too much. But I like the coconut cream method. I'm going to add my cilantro now at this point because it's done. Just adding some cilantro. I do not have the Thai basil leaves. I'm substituting cilantro in terms of kind of giving it that flavor. I'm going to also add some spinach because I want some spinach. I'll add that after I thicken it though. Slurry. So we're going to bring this back up to a low simmer boil. And I've got the coconut and water, cornstarch, I keep saying coconut, cornstarch and water in here. Like I said, it's about 1.5 teaspoons probably. And then I'm just going to, once it kind of starts coming up to boil, which it really looks like it should be pretty close to it already. I'm just going to add a little bit of it in. I don't even think I'm going to add all of that. I just want it to have a little bit, no, maybe a little more. A little bit more to coat. And the key to this is making sure your cornstarch and water is mixed in. There's no clumps. Cold water. And then you need to make sure this comes to a boil before you put it in, like I did. It's not really boil, simmer. And then you're going to cook it for about a minute at least. If you don't cook it for a minute, it's not going to, I'm going to turn this guy off again. Sorry about that. If you cook it for about a minute, it won't be right. So as you cook it, it's going to thicken. So now it's kind of boiled, and as you can see, it's already starting to thicken. And I might add a little bit more. Let's get a little spoon. I'll show you. So you can see it's thicker. That's probably about as thick as I want it. I want it to still have that kind of Thai soupiness, but I don't want it to be so, oh, that tastes so good. I want it a little bit thicker. I like mine thicker. I know, that's not Thai. Uncle Roger, I am so sorry, Uncle Roger. Oh, but I did cook it a little bit spicy. Okay, I'm going to add some spinach now. That's only going to take a second. Again, the spinach is just because it's going to go bad, and I need to use it. You can use any vegetables you like in all curries. That's the nice thing about a curry. Okay, so this is nice and thick now. Just need to cook it for another 20-30 seconds, and it is done. Then I'm going to let it cool off, and I'm going to package it up, put it on ice, and bring it with us so we have it for dinner or probably late lunch. That is it.